Hey everyone, Tracy here from Microsoft Ignite, and you might have seen me, community reporter. I've had so much fun. It's Wednesday, and here's another big one for me, and that's another hero sitting next to me, and that's Jeff Medford. Absolutely love this guy, and I'm so glad that we got an opportunity to have a chat. Now I'm going to hand over to Jeff. I want him to just introduce himself. I know that there's gazillions who knows him, but maybe there's some people in my hometown in South Africa who doesn't. So Jeff, over to you. Just tell us a bit more about yourself.
Yeah, my name's Jeff Medford, and I run the IT Pro Audience team as well as some of our business value programs. And so Ignite is really our event, right? It is our big time. And across my team, from community to diversity in tech to the Mechanics Live to the learning centers, that's really what we show up and do. So we love it. This is our event, and seeing all the smiling faces, it's amazing.
That's absolutely, and that's also why Jeff's sitting next to me. We've got something seriously cool in common, definitely. We met, I think, at the MVP Summit,
Yep.
I reckon, and we started talking about something I'm very, very passionate about, and it was nice meeting someone who shared that passion with me and the concern with me. I think there's a bit of a concern in it as well. And that is around, and I'm going to give it over to you for the other term that you've mentioned, but that's around digital literacy and making sure that people are, that the cloud readiness also involves the training side of things and getting people ready and in place for the things that they have to do. So Jeff, we had a discussion in the last day or two, and you used some terminology that I wasn't quite used to. What was that word?
It's digital acumen.
Okay, and what would that actually, what do you think that involves?
I think it's a lot to the same as digital literacy. It's two in the same. And I think the way we've been hearing and what I've heard at this conference and from customers and really even on some of our main stages of digital acumen are IT being able to go out to end users, go out to the entire organization and help all the people who are working within their organization just be more confident, better, and more able to use the tools that they have in front of them. And I think it's an amazing kind of thought of, hey, let's help every end user, let's help every person within the organization be able to feel confident at their PC, confident in this software that we're building for them, confident in the way that they can work together. And to me, that is like digital literacy leading into that digital acumen. Being able to have those conversations internally and say, hey, let's share that over here, work on this over there with confidence.
I'm so very glad to see this talk starting to happen in the industry. It's something that I've focused on for about 4 or 5 years, and I have to admit that at a lot of conferences, I just got blank stares. No, we don't think that's important. If we make the app prettier, it'll be fine. And I'm like, guys, no. I feel like someone who's running around with signs that says the zombie apocalypse is coming. We're gonna, and no one's listening. No one's running away. So a cool thing as well. I was just chatting to Julia White, and I commented on the fact that she mentioned it in the keynote as well, is how the digital first business mindset and this digital acumen is so important. And shameless punt, of course, and we never know when these things get aired, but today is Wednesday, and I'm delivering my second session on digital literacy, which is about digital first business mindset. So digital literacy, citizen developers, that's the big new thing. That's where the benefit's going to come from for using the technologies that we have, and that's empowering. And I'm going to say ordinary, I always say this, because Microsoft adds the extra, so that makes us extraordinary. And that's how amazing the apps and services are. So maybe is there some thoughts you want to share around the training and the learning side, some cool tips or ideas?
Absolutely, and I won't say it like Satya does, but he talked very clearly about tech intensity, and all these words are kind of flying around, but what I really see it boiling down to is there are so many pieces of software and services and features, and for IT folks to truly help a business transform, we need to be clear with it. We need to have kind of guidance out to our end users, because if we're getting end users adopting technology, embracing the kind of scenarios that they can work through, and really engaging within the company, we know that means more productivity. And I think at Ignite, and as it's Wednesday, the experiences we've tried to create for IT at this show hopefully can help them bridge to their end users. So whether it's like immersion workshops that tell end user stories through a kind of IT lens, whether it's going through technical labs but thinking about the true outcome that you're looking for. Like, that's why we build these experiences, and that's why we invite people like yourself. And I was at Daryl and Dean and Simon's session, and there was zero technology talk. It was about IT transformation.
Was that the debate?
It wasn't the debate. This was just a pure thought leadership. And you know, there were so many heads nodding in the room, and we weren't talking hybrid, you know, multi-factor auth and all these other, you know, terms. We were talking, how does IT truly lead in transformation? What do we need to do, and how do we bring our organization along? So I think that we are trying as Microsoft and as a content team to deliver that type of content so that we can help move this stuff forward.
That is, I'm so glad to hear that, and that's exactly how our conversation started at the MVP Summit.
Yep.
Is that I said that my concern is that we're training people on Power BI or Flow or Power Apps, and I keep on saying that I think the foundation's missing. I'm still convinced, and there's a lot of statistics out there that proves this right, and I've done a lot of work with clients that proves it right. The foundation, which is PC literacy, is seriously lacking. And I honestly believe that the greatest barrier we have to the user adoption starts with my own PC, not the cloud.
Yeah.
This is where we have to break down that fear people have of new technology, of how they search and find things, of how they navigate to things, because they will not adopt cloud. Teaching someone to suddenly use OneDrive when they weren't using good naming conventions before, or they weren't searching on their own PCs, is going to be a problem. I mean, and I'm glad to see, I'm really, really happy to see that the conversations that I've had on the Microsoft side is that we're all working together to try and fix that as well.
Yeah.
And I think something that's great for me as well is that the conversations that I've had here at Ignite, and I can see that that's changing, I saw it from last year, is the questions that people are asking are more based on, how do I take this back and get people to really use it and get benefit from it, versus how do I go and deploy the product? Because that used to be the focus, and I'm very, very excited about that.
Absolutely, and I think to your point of the PC, you know, we've been talking about that for the last months and months, and you know, what I loved about some of the demos I saw with Microsoft Search was it started with the Windows key and making sure that you can actually search your SharePoint site, search for people, just, you know, super basic. Hit the Windows key, get your search going, and that's what I really love about, hey, it's not like SharePoint search or product search or X product search. It's like, this is Microsoft Search, and it starts with that action of how many people even know hit Windows, start typing.
They don't.
They don't. And so I love that we can take something as complex as searching across all these different products and try to just boil it down into this user experience. Cortana, whatever it is we want to do or enable the user, first we have to make them comfortable, and we have to make them understand that it's as quick as a click, and then we can just start get going. So I see that as coming all the way back to that end user, and that's something that made me really excited seeing that. Yeah.
So something that I focus on in my session as well, to kind of break it down, because I don't think it's as complex as we think it is, but it's more work, and that's what puts people off. They want quick fixes, and this is not a quick fix.
Do their job.
Fixing people takes longer, but the benefits are so much better. I mean, the return on investment is incredible when you train people, and that means that next month we can roll out apps and things again without training them, because they'll become self-learners.
Yeah.
So it's about fixing that fear people have of technology and creating a culture of self-learning. Again, the search thing, those are basics. I mean, I had a situation a while back where someone wasn't happy about the new like display templates for search in SharePoint Online. You know, they didn't have all the search filters and things anymore. And I said, but why do you need that? Why do you want to navigate to content? Because that's like navigating. Yeah. Why do you want to press a PDF button or only this author button where you can go space minus in a word, space plus in a word?
Simple operators.
Works in SharePoint, works in search engines, it works in Explorer, it works in Outlook. But we never taught our end users those basics. I mean, that's the problem that we have. Yeah. It's like people still saving stuff on their desktops. Yeah. Because they don't know how to search.
It's how they've done it, and it's how they will do it. And we have to enable them to say, hey, this is where you search for things. This is how you save. Make it useful for others. Share the knowledge. You know, and I think you were just saying a perfect thing of the fear of change, and I think Sherry, who is the CIO of Goodyear, and they did a great kind of case study for our tech keynote. You know, they had a moment in that where she's talking about go away from the fear of change and turn it to the fear of stagnation, and change the culture within your organization that says, don't fear all of these things coming. Fear that you're still doing it the same way you used to. And I think that was a major point that she was making in her discussion of, hey, you have to go culturally and to the people, and it has to be people first. And I think that's a critical part of it, is people have to fear that, hey, am I not getting the best thing here? And let me try something, and let me help others, and let me be a champion to kind of help my maybe sales team or HR department to drive this change forward.
I want to put a crazy example out there, but we know that that's what I do, right?
Yeah.
So I'm known as a disruptor in the industry as well, because I kind of said, you know what, the nice talk in the past didn't help. So I'm the one who scares people and wakes them up and says, let's do this, but we're going to be okay. So here's an example, because I'm so interested in the psychology behind why things don't happen like they should, because there's reasoning for it. Some of us had bad childhoods. Some of us had abusive marriages. Some of us it doesn't matter, but we all come from a place that puts fear in us, which is different to other people. And that's why diversity and stuff is so important as well, of course. I mean, because we're all different. We all bring different benefits to the party as well. But here's a good example. I want everyone that's watching this to go think about this. There's a difference between how we deal with tech at home and at work.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I started doing some research. Of course, there isn't quite white papers out there on it yet or something. So I tried to figure this out. Why is it, and I'm going to use Mary in human resources as an example. Why is it that Mary can go home tonight on a smart device? She's going to go and search for the best chocolate brownie recipe in the world. Okay, she's going to find it. It's going to be some Siberian grandmother in the middle of the snowy capped mountains who puts up a generator once a week, puts up a dish, takes a photo of a handwritten recipe, posts on a WordPress site, okay? She's going to find this recipe, okay, all the way from wherever she is, South Africa, in Cape Town or Johannesburg. She's going to find this recipe. She's going to download it. She's going to bake those chocolate brownies. She's going to put photos on Instagram, photos on Facebook. It's going to be amazing, right?
Yeah, everyone will love it.
Tomorrow, Mary's going to come into work and she's going to try once and she won't find the leave policy on the intranet.
Yeah.
Like, how does that work?
It's amazing.
But do you know what it is? Because that's not being stubborn. People aren't stubborn. There's a reason why we don't do things. And I've got to be very careful now. I'm going to step on toes, but I want everyone to go and think about this. The difference between doing tech things at home in my personal capacity versus at work. At home, I don't have an IT crew that when I log a call is harsh with me and says, what did you break?
Why'd you break
Why
it?
did you do that?
Yeah.
Why did you click on that button? Why did you go there? I don't have that fear at home. Because we've had that for years. I'm not saying you guys are doing it in your companies, but I can promise you, I see that everywhere. And even when I speak to IT support departments, because I help them with this transitioning as well, I'm like, guys, and they're like, Trace, we never thought of it that way. Because we're so scared, because they're there and we're down here, and we're just too scared that we've made a mess. And that's why users don't log calls either. We're just too scared. We're scared to look stupid at work. We're scared people think that we don't know how to do our jobs. At home, I mean, if your bank pulls out a new internet banking app, what do? You go like, nah, can't use this. Phone the bank, say, send me someone to train me.
Yeah. No, you download it and you do it.
We keep on trying till we get it right.
Yeah.
In our work lives, we don't. So it's a two-way thing. Is I want us to be less scared of IT, but I also want IT to change their approaches. For me, IT is the first step to training.
Yeah.
For me, IT support, the help desk, is first step to training for sure.
I think, and to me, just listening to that story and the analogy, to me, it's empowerment, right? Are you empowered at work? Because I'm empowered at home to do whatever I want on my devices, to get the apps I want to do, and I have authority over it. And at work, are you as an individual being empowered to find the solution, to create something new? And that is that cultural difference, right? And I do think that the word of empower does help with that, and helping IT understand there's always a line to be drawn of compliance and security and experiences, but also empowering end users to say, find that next thing, take the next step, find the person who you can then have a chat with to solve your problem, and feeling that empower. I mean, I even think of it super technical level is like, we will download an app update on our phone that is 1.5 gigs, and I don't think about it because I'm on my home Wi-Fi, whatever. We get so many discussions with customers about Office updates that are like 800 megs, and you're like, but you knew Angry Birds was 900 megs and everyone downloaded that off your network. So what are we really talking about? And I always think of that as like the culture of consumer, of just being wide open, and you get to the corporate network and it's like, no, we need these Office updates to be super small, super tiny. Yes, of course we do, but we also have to think about this a little differently. Why is it that we just trust this phone to download the gigs and gigs of information?
And why do we see it different?
And why is this so different? It's always one thing that I think about a lot as I talk to customers. It's like, of course people have reasons, and we got to be great with software, but I also think culturally and how we think of work and home, that one always sticks in my mind, just like that.
I think another example, again, and this is again for you guys to go and think about this, is Microsoft or Office 365 specific. Now, I mean, I love Microsoft. Okay, you're going to struggle telling me there's something wrong anyway.
You've proven it, yeah.
I've proven it.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah, absolutely.
Love Microsoft. I do know that there's flaws. I do know that there's places and gaps that we still have to fill. But 6 years ago, I bought a license to a tenant. I spun up that new world to me, and I use it every day, and I live and breathe the new updates that come through and stuff. I get to clients who complain about the changes that come through, or the updates, or my machine's a bit slow because another update's come through, and then I go, sweetie, why did you buy that 365 license? When you buy that license, you buy into agile development.
Yep.
You buy into being updated on a regular basis. It's either that or go home, get that 2010 disc that you keep in your drawer and get an update every 3 years.
Yeah.
There's pros and cons. People understand what the pros and cons are, but also communicate that to your users. Make your users understand what that means, what the updates means, why it is sometimes slower, why there's changes, where you can stay up to date with these changes. That I don't see happening. People just wants the best of everything all the time, but like you said, at home we treat things different, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And we can always do it better and we can always communicate it better, but that really is the when I think of IT and transformation, it's not about just turning everything on, and that's one of the great debates everywhere. But again, just comes down to like, what works for my business? If I turn this on, what's the business outcome I'm looking for? And thinking of in IT as I'm gonna turn some things on, I'm gonna message some things out, I'm gonna do some training, and I'm then gonna look for the business outcome that comes back to me. And believe me, there are entire engineering departments at Microsoft driving towards that. How do we enable IT to see the business outcome? And there's a bunch of administration center updates, and those are some that I hope continue to pop. Is we want you to be able to turn things on, but then we actually want you to see the value coming back. And I think that will help that conversation with the business, with the end user, to say there's a reason why we're doing these things now, and we're actually getting that reason back to us in a meaningful way.
It's about communication, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It always is. So, Jeff, just a last question from my side is, you've got a team of people that's involved here at Microsoft Ignite that's playing a very, very important role.
Yeah.
And do you want to just spend a minute or two and just talk about that team that's here and what their focus is and what that is that they're achieving?
Yeah, and right outside that sign, and I know this doesn't work for anyone who's not here, but there's this giant sign that said, learn, connect, and explore, and it has a bunch of bullet points under it, from podcast to community to diversity in tech to Microsoft mechanics. And I stood below that sign when we got in on Friday and just boggled my mind, because I saw my team, and when I walked in here, I thought, oh my goodness, this is the physical representation of what my team constantly tries to do, which is get people engaged with learning content and with great form factors from Mechanics Live, and connect them with leadership at Microsoft who are building things, and then make people feel the community that surrounds them. And we've done that here from a physical standpoint of leadership comes off the stage and you're in the community social and you're having the podcasts around, and then all the while, this kind of heavy content happening. We have this very clear line of diversity in tech, and it's such a huge investment from Microsoft. Like, this is Microsoft investing in these experiences, and I think that's been an absolute highlight, not just from, hey, we actually are doing something, like, oh, hey, but no, the content, the daily content, it's sessions, it's over 80 sessions of diversity in tech this year. So I am just very proud of Microsoft when it comes to that, and seeing that flow through. And right next to that is these technology workshops and super deep content where people are truly learning like the depth that they can. All of that together is how I think of my team, and it's, you know, for me, even personally here, like we built this over the last 9 months, 10 months, but seeing it in person and how it came out, that really makes a difference for me.
I think from my side, I want to say thank you very, very much to
Absolutely.
you. You're obviously a wonderful, wonderful mentor, and you're great together with your
Thank you.
team.
Yeah, thank
I
you.
love your team. I'm not going to call out names, but I just want to say thank you so much, guys.
Yeah.
You've made this conference absolutely amazing for me.
Awesome.
I've also worked with the guys for a couple of months, and that's the people backstage that makes real magic happen.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Jeff,
Thank
for
you.
being on the couch with me.
Absolutely.
Always love chatting to you.
Absolutely.
And that's back to you guys. I hope I see some of you at Microsoft Ignite next year.
Thank you.